BBC Television presents...
Hancock.
Come on, Sid, it's not like you lying around all day doing nothing. Wait a minute, that's just like you.
Yeah, I've been sitting here for the last 50 days. It's locked down. There's nothing else to do.
Chop chop, Sid, there's work to be done. It's no good just counting off the days. Either that or I'll ask one of the gnomes in the garden to give me a hand.
So exactly what have you been busy doing during lockdown?
Loads of things. I've written my memoirs, for example. Been bird watching, walked around the garden 100 times, and done loads of archaeological research for when I return to work.
Memoirs, eh? Let's have a gander. I could do with a laugh.
They're not finished yet. Like all great works of literature, it's going to take a bit of time.
So where are you up to at the moment in this great work of literature?
I'm reminiscing about my childhood, Sid. There's some very fond memories I wish to capture.
Oh, your school days then?
No, I haven't got as far as that. Before then, when I was a bouncing baby boy of 14 pounds 6 ounces, Sid, I used to like me rusks.
Yeah, I can believe it. So what page are you on then?
You're determined to drag me down, aren't you, Sid? All right, the first page, if you must know. The point when I come into the world. But this is not about me. We've got to get you moving. It's not healthy at your age lying around eating pies full of clogged arteries.
I'm happy sitting here, Tar, very much. Rest is good for me and my clogged arteries. You need to treat me as if I was a much younger person.
Yes, and don't I know it? But there's rest and there's torpor and lethargy, Sid. We're going to do some DIY, spruce the place, cheer it up a bit, and at the same time cheer that body of yours up into the bargain.
You're gonna do some flipping DIY, you mean? I'm quite cheerful enough, thanks very much.
We're both of us going to do it, and as your landlord, I demand you do the place up or I'll ask for your deposit back.
I never gave you a deposit.
Yes, and that's another sore point, isn't it? There's still time, so in lieu of a deposit, you can help me to do some flaming DIY.
You know what DIY means, don't you? Do it yourself. Well, be my guest. Go on and do it yourself, and don't try and get me involved. I'll enjoy watching you from the comfort of the sofa.
Well, as you never gave me a deposit, I demand that you help me to do some DIY in lieu of 10 years of back rent.
All right, keep your hair on. I'll do it if you promise me one thing.
Yes, I thought there might be a catch. What is it? I promised to pay Sid James a large sum of money for making noises on the wall with a stripping knife that set your teeth on edge.
It's nothing horrible. If we find anything interesting while we're renovating the place, you promise to go halves when we sell it.
Come, Sydney. I think you're being a little bit optimistic. What are we going to find? A Van Gogh hidden in the loft. That bottle of lager you lost 2 Christmases ago.
Nothing funny like that. Anything either of us finds, you promise to go halves on.
All right, if that's what it takes to get an honest day's work out of you, the lure of large quantities of filthy lucre, you have my word. Halvesies. Haven't you finished stripping that wallpaper in the back room yet, Sid? I've got some new rolls I want to put up. It's very tasteful. Avocado with sloths hanging from trees.
It's nearly done, but there's a section of the wall that's difficult to get the paper off. It's in the shape of a rectangle, about 7 foot by 4 foot.
You're not using that scraper properly. Wait a minute, that's because it's a door. They must have wallpapered over it a couple of 100 years ago. Let's have a look inside. Careful, there might be a skeleton behind it.
No, there's nothing behind it. It's a false door. But what builder would do such a crazy thing?
What's that in your hand?
Nothing. No, my hand is empty, look. Nothing in the left hand and nothing in the right hand.
That's because you're shifting something from one hand to the other. Yes, there is a bit of paper. Where did you get that from? Halvesies, you said.
It was hidden behind that door.
You were trying to hide it from me. It looks like a map. We'd better go and sit down and take a proper look at it. It might be something valuable.
So what's the map say, Hancock? Is it like Boris's road map, completely unintelligible?
I do hope not, Sydney, but it is hard to read because it's in Latin. Although I have done a bit of Latin before in my job, and that should help. It says, "Who forevereth findeth this mapeth is most fortunate, because whenceforth I have concealeth therein a great treasure, and hither it is."
What's Heather got to do with it? Is the treasure in Scotland, Hancock?
Hither, as in behind the door in our back room, of course.
Yeah, but it wasn't a door, remember? It was a false door. There's nothing there. It's just a wall.
Well, we're not going to let a wall stand between us and the great treasure, are we, Sid? But before we do anything, let's put what we found on Facebook and Twitter and see if anybody knows anything about it. The map signed Vince Leonardo. Perhaps that name will ring a bell with someone.
Good evening, I'm Professor Flint Toole from the University of Surrey. I read your Facebook post. I'm very excited. In fact, I'm getting quite aroused. East Cheam is very old, and we think railway cuttings was built on the site of the ancient nunnery of East Cheam Abbey. And this is my colleague, Dr. Pat Sherd.
Yes, pleased to meet with you. It's good to have some experts who know what they're doing. I mean, Sid's a good friend and all that, but he's practically useless.
So very much. I found it, if you must know.
Hello, chaps. There are rumours that there is a fantastic treasure here that links the last abbess with the Knights Templars, the Holy Grail, the bloodline of Jesus Christ, the Da Vinci Code, and the Illuminati.
There's everything but the kitchen sink in there, Dr. Sherd. Well, we can expect something pretty amazing, and if I might be so bold as to say this to a fellow archaeologist, something pretty valuable behind the door. Though, of course, value is nothing when it comes to the archaeological significance of the discovery. What do you think it is? A gold cup, treasure from the Temple of Solomon, diamonds, the pearls of the Queen of Sheba, or a whacking great treasure chest?
Oh, something much better, Mr. Hancock. Better than all those combined. We think it could be the long-lost fabled...
Yes, go on.
Golden Girdle.
A girdle? Is that all? My mother had one. She used to hang it on the line. I almost died with shame. I was expecting a bit more than that.
It's not just any girdle, Mr. Hancock. It's the girdle. It's made of pure gold. Spun by virgin nuns for 20 years it was. It's exquisite, or so they say.
We was hoping for something a bit more valuable than ladies' underwear, Professor.
It's not just any old piece of ladies' undies. It's the pinnacle of ladies' underwear. It's 30 pounds of pure gold and 60 inches in circumference.
Well, it is one hell of a girdle. Solid gold, you say?
Yes, Hildebrand, Mr. James, was not just a run-of-the-mill ordinary lady. The girdle was made to withstand a sword thrust or a lance. Hildebrand was an Amazon, one of a tribe of warrior nuns.
Amazon, you say? The South American one or the internet one? Well, I suppose you're right. A golden girdle might well have come in handy in those barbaric days. Marauding Vikings and all that. You couldn't be too careful, could you?
Those vicious Vikings trying to rip it from her body, but she resisted them. Their lusting, thrusting, groping ends.
Atta girl. So you think it's here, do you? In one piece, I hope. I mean, not ripped or used or ruined, or soiled in any other way.
All the evidence points to it being here, but we mustn't go rushing in. We must do a proper, painstaking, thorough excavation. We'll peel off the past, layer by layer. We'll strip it down until we find the girdle.
Oh, of course not. As an archaeologist, I support you 100%. Please begin excavations as soon as you can, Professor Flint Toole. Take all the time in the world. After all, it's been there over 1,000 years. We can't be in a hurry, can we?
Oh, you made my day. All my birthdays have come at once. I could throw off my clothes and dance around naked. I'm so happy. Professor Toole, I'll have to leave if you start doing that nonsense again.
You know, Sid, I've been thinking. A golden girdle. You're having me on, aren't you, Sid? This is payback time for me making you do DIY, isn't it? You've made the whole thing up with Professor Flintool and Dr. Pat Sherd, haven't you? You're trying to make a Charlie out of me.
Honest, it's nothing to do with me. It's real. Would I make up a story about a golden girdle? It's balmy.
Yes, it's balmy, all right, but that's exactly the sort of thing you do, Sid James. The sort of cheap joke you'd come up with. Let's convince old Hancock that there's solid gold ladies' undies in the back room. I'd be the laughing stock of the pub. I can see you all sitting there falling off your bar stool.
No, I'm not responsible at all, Hancock. This actually could be worth a few bob. Let's go and open that door, Hancock. It's been 6 months and they still ain't started.
Assuming they're not having us on, these things take time, Sid. Archaeology can't be rushed. One slip and you haven't got a golden girdle, but a gaping gap where a girdle used to be. I'm a professional and we know all about these things. Mind you, we could take a quick peek, couldn't we?
I bet you didn't think we were coming back. We came as quick as we could. 6 months, it's flown by. Something came up. We had to dig a Roman bath. Turned out to be someone's outside loo. We all felt so daft, we did. Anyway, we're ready to begin excavating. I brought me tools.
Well, we'll let you get on with it then. There's plenty of tea. Just help yourself in the kitchen. If you find any other treasures, just pop them on the table. But don't give them to Mr. James. You may never see them again. Only joking, Sid.
Yes, we must all pull together as a team, Mr. Hancock. And I'll record and photograph anything we find and then conserve the artefact.
I'm over the moon. I'm as happy as a pig in Glabber. We found it. The golden girdle of Hildebrand the Amazon. Ooh, it's magnificent. 60 pounds of solid gold, each linked individually, hand-wrought and stamped with a little H in case you left it in the change room. I'm going to be famous.
Yes, bravo. Well done, Professor Toole. Excellent. This moment will be recorded forever in the annals of archaeology. It will change the way we think about women's underwear.
It's not going to change the way I think about women's underwear, Hancock. But well done, Professor. Let the joint owners have a look.
I'm afraid a little peek is all you're going to get, and no touching, because I've got some bad news for you, Mr. James. You're not the owners.
But the golden girdle, it's ours. You said it was here. Number 23 Railway Cuttings. You said so yourself. You've been here for months. So where was it?
That's the trouble. We've been digging here for months, and we got so carried away, we ended up in number 21 Railway Cuttings, and we didn't know it. We dug right through to next door, and it's under the floor of his lounge. We popped up one evening in the middle of Coronation Street. He's quite enthusiastic about it. We've been chatting and chatting, and he's quite knowledgeable. He didn't mind. He's quite happy.
Yes, nice man. He's made plans. He's going to sell it to the British Museum and move and buy a mansion in central London.
Flaming wonderful. So we get nothing. You used our map. Without us, you wouldn't have found it. We deserve a share of the golden girdle.
No, don't get me wrong. We're eternally grateful to you, Mr. Hancock. I know gratitude doesn't butter many passports. Parsnips, Mr. James. It's a nice map. I'll give you a couple £100 for it. Vince Leonardo is quite well known. While the map was on your land, I'm afraid the girdle wasn't.
Oh, woe is me. The goblet dashed from my thirsty lips. So near and yet so far. Like Tantalus.
Oh, don't be such a crybaby. Do you want to see it, though? Because Dr. Pat Sherd is modelling it. It's a lovely fit. She's a big lady, like Hildebrand.
Yes, here you are, boys.
My giddy aunt.